So at this point, we want to set some restrictions on our views. So our view right here that gets our user profile, it does actually restrict you if you don't have a proper token. But the view itself is not actually restricted to anything. So it fails if you don't have a token. But technically anybody can access this view, and there is certain views later on down in the future that are going to need to be protected. So for this, what we are going to do is add in another decorator over here and then set the permission here. So we are going to have two permission levels. The first is going to be for a user to be authenticated. So a user must be authenticated before accessing a certain view. And the another permission level is going to be the fact that a user must be an admin. So let's go ahead and set this up. We first need to import a decorator. So from framework.decorator, after our API view, we are just going to import the permissions class. So decorator, and then we want to import from REST framework.permission, and then these will actually be the permission level. So we are going to do import, and then the first one is going to be authenticated or is authenticated. So this means a user must be authenticated to access this view. And then the next one is going to be is admin user. So is the admin basis is based off the fact that a user has staff status set to true. So that's why is admin does not so sorry is admin does. So what we can do is we can take our permission classes, and I want to restrict, let's see, we'll just restrict the user profile view. So we'll just use the add symbol, we'll type in permission classes or just add that, and then in a list we can actually set all the permissions. So the one is going to be is authenticated. Okay, so right now if I try to access this view, so we'll go to Postman. If I send a request, we get back the user information. If we take away the token, we get back credentials or authentication credentials were not provided. So if we try to go to products, for example, we can get the products because there is no permission. So permission, that class restriction on it. But if we put this decorator on it, I will just paste that in. Now if we try to do this, we'll go into here and then we will send that, and send that view is restricted. So we don't want to actually restrict product. So let's take this out. What we want to do is actually set some staff permission classes. So for this, I am going to create a route for our users. So this will be a quick one, and the users route is something that only an admin should be able to see. So if I am an admin, I want to be able to access this and see all the users in the database. So for this, I'm going to change this to, let's see, we have our products. So I'm going to change this to get users, and in here we are going to get our users. So we'll just do users, and then we can do user.objects.all. Okay. So that's going to get all the users from the database. And then I can use this user serializer, and that's still in git users, in the get users. Okay, so I'm going to change this to a user serializer, and then we'll pass in the users here. So users, and then many is set to true. So we want to get all the users, so we have our view for our users, and I'm actually going to copy this and I'm going to paste this just under our get user profile. So I want the users to be next to each other, and then the products. So let's set the URL now. So the URL is going to be just users. So we'll copy and paste this, and then this will be users, get users right here. So not the profile and then users, like that. So right now, if I try to access this, so we will add in a new request. So we'll just do add request. This is going to be a get request, and we are going to API forward slash users. So let's go in here. We will add in the URL variable, and so a capital URL. We are in our pro shop environment, and we are going to do API forward slash users. Okay, so users, like that. And if I make this request, we should get back all the users. Let's see what's going on here. So let me try this from the front end, or see if everything's going on right in my server. So name user is not defined. Let's see. So user dot objects. Did I not import the user model? I did not. So I am going to go to serializers, and I am actually just going to take this default user model, and we are going to import that just by our models right here. So I will import that above it, and that should give us access now. So that works now. So if I send this request, I can now see all the users in my database here. So I will just move this here, give myself some space. So I see two users. We have Dennis and Tim. So I have full access to these users. So I want to restrict this now. Now to restrict it, I'm just going to take this permission class, and I'm going to throw this just above our get user and under our API view. And in this case, I don't want any authenticated user to see this. So just a regular user or a customer in our database can technically right now see this view, but we want to protect it even from our users. We want to make sure only admin users can see this. So I'm going to get this to is admin user, and I don't need to add in authenticated, because if you are an admin, well, you must be authenticated to even get that permission right there. So this is going to work. And right now, if I go back into Postman, if I send this request, we are not authenticated. So what we could do is, I'm going to go into our profile, and I'm going to get this bearer token right. So this is for our admin user. So if I go back to API users, I'm going to go into headers, and I'm going to set this key to authorization. Let's see authorization, and I am going to paste in this token. And if I send this request, I have full access. So I see all of my users. Now you can see that Tim here is not an admin user. So I want to get the token for Tim right now. So what I am going to do is actually add in a new key. So I'm going to deactivate this one, and I'm going to add in another authorization token, and this one is going to be a bearer token, but I want to get the values from Tim's token. So we'll go in here, and I don't remember what the password was. So let's see, maybe the default one that I normally use is still works. So there we go. So we still get him. Now we have a new user, but he's not an admin. So he does not have the admin permissions. So if I get this token, and remember access right here and token are virtually the same thing, they they are just encoded differently. So I get this new token, I'm going to paste this in. So Tim is not an admin user. So if we add in the bearer token, so we'll send that. Now if we send the data as Tim, we don't get access to this. So it says that we don't have a valid token. But if we turn off Tim's token and send it from Dennis tokens, so my token I have full access. So again, if I switch between these, I just want to make sure I'm getting the right response. Yeah, it's wrong type of token. So we have officially put the restriction on it by using the two permission classes. So we use a decorator, we use this permission classes decorator, and we can set is authenticated and is admin user for our users now. So in the next section, we are going to take care of registering a user and actually creating some post. Post request to add new users to the database from our API.